Good morning.
Wednesday, wake up live, suckers. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to introduce everybody to my lovely co-hosts. This is Zachary Bach, Katie Boucher, and David Serpa. We're here to rock and roll another week, and we're popping it off live as always. Kate, what do we got first on the show?
Today, we're going to talk about, we've got the Machine Gunner's Guide to Real Estate. It is available for download, audio download on Audible for free. Actually, if you download Audible, you'll get a book for free and a 30-day free trial. You'll get, you can also download it on iTunes and Amazon. We've got the sock challenge, as always. Lots of fun. We're going to be talking about personality tests, specifically the DISC and the Myers-Briggs. We've got a special guest on today, Marcos Sanchez. We're going to be talking about self-defense. We've got some fun stuff coming up with music. Our second single, Love to Give, is going to be coming out next Monday. So we're talking music and Vet Fest and our first show in Northern California. We're going to talk about the importance of good listening, and we're going to talk about the Clinton Keith project that's going on over here that's pretty exciting. Book recommendations and lots of other fun crap in between.
We got a bunch of great crap on the show today, guys. So much good crap.
Mm-hmm. So let's kick it off. We already talked about the book a little bit, so you guys can download the book, but you guys want to kick it off with the sock challenge?
A lot of people don't know this. The Machine Gunner's Guide to Real Estate, it's not just written by David Serpa. And it's not, the Audible is not just by David Serpa. It's not just my book. In fact, the publishing company made a big deal about adding these two to the cover as well.
Woo! That was why it took so long to get out, was because Zach and I had to be...
I was trying to keep all the glory to myself.
My email to the publishing company saying I wanted to get paid worked, apparently. I want my 10 cents a copy.
That's right.
You guys want to tell everybody really quick what you guys wrote about and what you spoke about on the Machine Gunner's Guide to Real Estate Audible?
Sure.
Because that just came out last week.
Yeah.
The Audible just came out. And the Audible's $25. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But it's 21 hours of audio.
Yeah.
And it's all three of us. And if you join Audible, you get it for free, right?
Yeah. I joined Audible. I got a free 30-day trial and a free download. So
there you go. So what did you write about in the Machine Gunner's Guide to Real Estate?
Mine was very professional. I kept it all about operations management and managing a large high-volume team and what that looks like, and just my personal experience with this team, which was a very unique experience. So yeah. I kept it very, very business-driven, operations management centered.
Word.
Yeah.
I just wrote about the phones.
Yeah. What, do you remember what the title of your chapter was?
The Phones Aren't Scary.
The Phones Aren't Scary by Zachary.
I had this conversation with somebody the other day too. You know, I was doing a training class at KW, and it was somebody, and I asked them. I said, just call everybody in your phone. I go, let's start there. You're a brand new real estate agent. Just call everybody in your phone. Pick it up and call them. And they didn't want to. They were legitimately afraid to call the people in their phone. I go, if you can't call the people that already know and trust you, then we're going to have a conversation and do some training here.
Your success will be defined by the number of awkward conversations that you're willing to have.
Yep.
And if you're not even willing to like call your friends and family, like, hey, you know what? I got a real estate license.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I got a real estate license. Hey, I got a real estate license. Let's move my phone a little bit here so we can see those comments better.
Okay, here we go. So you guys want to catch up with a couple of comments and we'll jump into the sock challenge?
A lot of stuff.
Michelle Walls. Hey, hello, Michelle. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle.
The audiobook is amazing. Yes, it is. It is amazing. It's 21 hours of just the good stuff. Sound is great.
Oh, great crap. Yeah, I did say that. Sorry. Sorry, I did say that.
Loaded with great crap.
We have good stuff going on today.
An abundance of great crap. Lol. Active Duty Navy and love this book. Finally, a real estate book that cuts to the BS. Yes!
That's right, Alan.
Will you write me a review?
Exactly what David was going for.
Will you write me a review somewhere? Because we don't have any reviews yet. We're number 24 on Amazon. We're climbing up the charts, but no reviews yet. If you subscribe with Audible, you get a free credit every month for a book of any price. Oh. Bam, sis! Alan, you're quickly becoming my favorite viewer. Sorry, Mom.
I was worried about my 30-day free trial ending. I'm kind of enjoying Audible. I I like holding my books. I'm very into it.
Yep.
This is the first time I've downloaded a book and done Audible, and I'm sort of getting on board. It's a different experience, but it's kind of wonderful.
One of these days, I'm going to remember to bring a keyboard and a mouse over for this. One of these days.
Good idea.
I've got one right there. Audible.
Audible's pretty great.
You're getting into it.
Audiobooks are kind of cool. I'm listening to, well, yeah, I'm giving it a go.
Yeah.
I'm being optimistic about it. I like to hold books. It's a
Yeah.
different experience.
I'm a spine breaker. I like to have the feeling of the book. I like turning the page. I like the second that there's more in my left hand compared to my right hand. Having the percentage on the bottom of the screen doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, the whole Kindle thing. I read one book on a Kindle, and it was weird. Hi, Mom.
I just like the way that the books smell. So there's that.
I like that both of our moms are watching right now.
Of course.
Your mom's commenting on your page. Hello, good morning. My mom's commenting on my page. My mom told me that I just lost a review from her because she's not my top fan anymore.
I'm really feeling left
Did you
out.
take her out of your MySpace top 8?
Hey, Mom, guess what? You're not even in my MySpace top 8 anymore. That's what happens. Okay, hey, you guys want to jump into the sock challenge?
Yeah, sure.
Who wants to lead the way? That beard, though.
Heck yes.
Okay, sock challenge. And by the way, in my Audible, it's just phenomenal. I am a thespian. I am a bit of a performer, and I performed. I quoted Shakespeare. I read sonnets. I cried. I laughed. I had mental breakdowns. It's a great book. Go out and get it. Okay. All right. Sock challenge. Who wants to go first?
Mine come with a story.
Zach,
So-
I feel like has something really.
I almost never go first.
Go for it.
I'll go and I'll do it. Ha! Money socks.
High rolling.
This money sock represents the $1.3 trillion spent annually by American military and veterans. $1.3 trillion.
Wow, really?
Ooh. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that the American military, the veterans, have an annual spending power of $1.3 trillion. I think it might be time for our politicians to start respecting that. It might be time for our the people out there that are creating to start respecting the American military. There's 1% of us, and we control 1.3 trillion in spending power. Bam, sis.
I had no idea. It's pretty crazy. All
All
right.
right, who's next?
Go for it, Kate.
I'll go.
David won. Thanks, Mom.
Pick these beauties up
Bam!
yesterday.
Thank you, Alan.
Glasses. Amazing glasses. For all of my glasses wearing people who are too afraid to go get LASIK, here's to us. Yay.
I used to be one of those, and then I got here.
Pretty passionate speech, Kate. All right, for all the people that are too afraid to get LASIK, Kate is representing today.
Reppin' strong.
All right. So, mine come with a story, as usual. So, these socks were a gift to me. And what's interesting about these socks is when you first look at them, you pull it up a little bit, and you go, huh, it's just a bunch of dots. It's like you're seeing half a picture, right?
It just looks like a regular boring old sock right
Looks
now,
like a
Zach. What
normal
happens?
sock, right? But when you start looking at the whole picture of the sock, you start realizing that there's leaves and there's, it's like being in the jungle with these socks. And so I started realizing that this little section here is what most people see in life. They see the picture through the trees. It's like not seeing the forest through the trees. And then once you look at the whole picture, you start realizing that there's a lot of beauty that could be hidden under. There's a lot of beauty that can be hidden over. It's like an iceberg.
In
You're
other
not
words,
being
we're
able to
looking
see
at birds
stuff.
of paradise on a
Exactly.
men's
So-
sock.
When
Zach
you-
could sell anything to anybody.
So-
if you don't believe that Zach could sell anything to anybody, look at these socks that he's trying to win the sock challenge.
And so the point of these socks today is that
Don't let
sometimes,
Zach win.
sometimes you need to pull your pant leg up and take your shoes off.
Yeah.
You need to relax a little bit and look at the entire picture and realize that there's some beauty out there, and actually open your eyes. Open your eyes to their.
Or go get LASIK.
It's all right.
Guys, that was terrible. that was an awful story. But you're so inspiring, Zach. Let's see if you were able to pull the wool over some people's eyes. Alan is not fooled. I'll count that as a vote for me.
Hillary counts as 25% of a vote at this point. We always know
Excuse me.
she's always going to vote for David. So
this is like the first time my mom voted for me.
I was going to say, I think, no,
She
she
was
actually
okay.
votes for me a lot.
My socks have soles. Rick.
No, have holes.
Oh, I was like, hey man, if your sock
got
has soul,
go for it.
right on. Your table's now in danger. Desperate sell job. David won. Shaking my head. Is that the Mel sign? Down with David's repping for vets. I think it's a landslide. I think Serpa pulled it out.
David takes it.
Are we talking disc with Marco, or are we talking disc with you guys?
with us, and then the stuff is with Marco. Is the
Marco's gonna do the self-defense.
Okay, you guys want to move on to personality test?
Yeah, we can jump right into that. I'm good with it.
Did I spell personality right?
You definitely did.
Yes.
Go with
Did I
it.
spell it right? Yeah, I did. Okay. All right, let's talk personality
Marcos
tests.
is watching, but he's on the way here.
Hey, Marcos, see you in a little bit, handsome.
Good morning, Marcos.
All right.
Marcos is going to show you how to bust skulls when he gets here. Self-defense. We're talking about it.
You know what would be
Okay.
cool is, well, it's a little bit late now. We could have set up a whole demonstration. Just move the table out of the way, brought in some mats.
It's not too late. We've got a stand, and we've got a person here. We'll work out a demonstration. I think Zach looks a little bit more like a thug than I do. I think he should probably be the guinea pig, but
People are more afraid of homeless people than they are clean cut people. So
Marco's on the way. All right, so personality test.
We should talk disc versus Myers-Briggs.
Disc versus Myers-Briggs. You want to?
I feel like that's comparing apples to oranges, though, a little bit.
Okay.
Because Myers-Briggs is so much more in depth than DISC.
I agree.
The DISC is more of a let's get the 30,000 foot view of the person,
Mhm.
and then let's take a look at within that 30,000 foot view, where do they fall?
Yeah.
The DISC assessment, and I think I've said this to you guys before, is as somebody in one of my trainings once said, is the DISC can be summed up with four very simple things. Is the Ds are the people that you say, hey, we're going to go do this thing, and they're outside in the car driving circles around the block going, when are we going to leave? When are we going to leave? When are we going to leave? The I's are like, all right, does everybody agree with the idea? Who doesn't agree with it? I'm going to convince you that it's a good idea, and then we're going to go.
Yeah.
The C's and the S's, C's are the organized people,
The
right?
S's are like, wait, let me make sure everybody has everything they need, and
Yeah.
we have to make sure we're on time,
Yeah.
and then we'll
And
go.
they've like built a checklist, and they're checking stuff off.
No, that's a C.
That's
that's
more
a C.
of the, we're
That's a
in
C.
this, yeah.
The S's are like, does everybody feel comfortable about
Right.
this? Does
How do
everybody
you feel
good?
about this?
Is this? Do you need to talk?
Are your families okay?
yeah.
today? All right.
I think DISC is really great for hiring. I think that Myers-Briggs is really great for understanding yourself and where you fit in a team dynamic, where you fit as an individual, what your individual genius is. So, I think with DISC, if you're hiring a buyer's team, DISC is important. If you're hiring an admin, DISC is important. If you want to figure out what makes you tick and how you're designed, I feel like you take a Myers-Briggs test.
I think both of them work for hiring purposes. Initial hiring, DISC, and then once you want to get into, okay, how do I coach these people? How do I connect with these people, knowing that their Myers-Briggs is, and actually applying the principles of, okay, Myers-Briggs tells me I need to coach this person this way.
Sure.
And as long as they answer their Myers-Briggs and their DISC, truthfully, then it can be a good thing.
I
DISC.
agree with that.
DI,
Mm-hmm.
ID, SC.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's constantly changing too, as you're moving through your professional career. I know my DISC is changing. I bet you my DISC is totally different now than it was 2 years ago.
That'd be interesting to find out.
I bet it's different.
This is all above my pay grade in comprehension. Take care. Got to go. This is when we get into real estate. This is when we get into the business stuff, and it doesn't keep everybody. And that's why we put all the things in the bottom so that later you could click through and be like, this isn't super interesting to me. So as far as DISC goes, we talked about that. Myers-Briggs, what are you?
Oh God, the entrepreneur.
The entrepreneur.
Whatever that one.
Yeah.
The four letters are.
And then what are you?
I'm an ISFJ. I'm a defender.
Yep.
Yeah.
My organizational skills are showing that I don't even know what letters are.
So what are you? I don't know. I know how I feel about
It's
it.
fun. I'm way fanatic about Myers-Briggs. You could take the test. My favorite is I think it's 16 personalities dot something or other. It's free. You can take it. I am an ENTP, which is an inventor or a debater. And it has given me a lot of perspective. And so what I did was I took those 4 letters, I typed them into YouTube, typed in ENTP. I got a bunch of great content back on me. I did a ton of reading on me. And then I studied Myers-Briggs to such an extent that I am watching and reading more stuff by people who are medical students that are studying like bone structure in Myers-Briggs or heredity, like personality profile and nature versus nurture and in a team. And so like my mom is a campaigner. She's an ENFP, which is also what several of my top buyers agents were. A lot of musicians are that. Your dad is an ENFP. It's super interesting. It's very cool. But what ENFPs do is they campaign. They get super excited. They get super worked up about it. And the next day, they don't really, it's like the conversation didn't even happen. What ENTPs do is we talk about a million different things. We get super excited about 16 different things. And then maybe 4 of them can change the world. The other like 12 aren't really going to do a whole heck of a lot of anything. But maybe we forget all of them or we run with one. It's just like, it's a weird thing. This guy, ESTP, entrepreneur, or they can sell anything to everybody, and their moral code is super jacked up. I'm just kidding. Defender, they lock on a person, people, and they look out for the good of everybody but themselves, and a lot of times tend to get lost in the fray. So it's one of those things where, like, if I can get a read on somebody pretty quickly and I can find out what their Myers-Briggs is, I compare them to other people that I know, and I know that if I find an ISFJ, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of them. And I know that if I find an entrepreneurial-minded person, that I can jive with them on a similar level to I could jive with this guy. And I'm able to apply all of these relationship algorithms in all facets of my life, and it also helps me to avoid certain people.
Agreed. Yeah, it's not just for professional. It talks about parenting. It talks about relationships. It talks about it's very comprehensive.
Yeah.
I think there's like 8 different sections. It breaks it down in at length. So I like the Myers-Briggs, but as far as professionalism, I'd probably go to.
So my mom says you can't sell socks, Zach. She says she's a campaigner, cheerleader. Aquamarine giving us some thumbs up for what we had going on. This is all above my pay grade. Hilarious. Come back, Rick. SC, my TC, the best TC on planet Earth, Leslie Hill. Still handsome, no matter how hard he tries. Oh, you know what? It's my beard. Gosh darn it. ESTP, here and after reading the breakdown, it made so much sense.
That's awesome.
Right on. Okay, Marcos, did Marcos just get here?
Marcos? Not yet.
That's the thing about Bueller having the show in the house.
Let's chill.
We just leave the door open, and then there's like, all right, come on in.
Come on in. Well, we can talk about this because we've got a couple minutes here before Marcos gets here. We can talk about some music.
You want to talk about a little bit of music?
Kind of a quick update, the Vet Fest and our show and all of the developments with music.
Okay. All right, let's talk about it.
Okay, cool. Oh, Prometheus and Mama Fancy with the Boot Band. We are playing our first show in Placerville.
Yep.
At Bones Roadhouse. On July 7th.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
It's going to be our first show. It's very exciting.
It started off, it was just going to be kind of like, a small show, a little bit of a get together. And what has happened is it's ended up taking off and really getting big really quickly. In fact, why don't I just put Vet Fest on the screen, because that's really what has ended up happening. Right. So Vet Fest is a safe place to go for help. And Zach being an Air Force veteran, myself being a Marine Corps veteran, Zach has personally investigated a lot of unrelated. What
unit were you with?
What unit were you with? I was with 1st Battalion, 1st Marines. Who are you with?
Air Force OSI.
Air Force OSI. So Zach investigated suicides. I've been personally touched by suicide in my life. And Kate, as the daughter of a police officer and a firefighter, is very aware that the first responder community is struggling in a lot of the same ways that our veterans are struggling. They have to go, they could see something tragic, they have to go home at the end of the night, and then they have to wake up and go do it again the next morning. And so all of us are feeling disconnected. Oh, there's a lot of us that are struggling with that. And so what we wanted to do with the boot band, Air Force veteran, my sister's an Iraqi combat veteran, and we got Chinner, who's an Army vet. We all understand service. We all understand the power of connectivity. Is we want to give people a safe place to turn. We're playing a lot of benefit concerts. We're playing Wild Horse on September 2nd, which is going to be huge. We've got VA Rep coming out for that, and we're expecting about 1,500 to 2,000 people to come out for that. And then we're expecting a big crowd for Bones Roadhouse. But Zach, you want to tell everybody kind of, you were kind of nodding along, and I want to make sure that I'm not monologuing too much here.
David monologuing? That never happens. No, I mean, there's a lot to talk about with this type of stuff. We covered it a couple weeks ago, with one of our shows 3 weeks ago, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And it's bringing out, a lot of people are afraid to ask the hard questions. Unfortunately, a lot of people are afraid to ask somebody, look them in the eyes and say, "Are you thinking about killing yourself?"
Sure.
And you have to have that conversation with people. You have to be willing to have that conversation with people because they might hate you for it, but damn it, if you save their life, I would say it's worth it. That being pissed off at somebody for a temporary amount of time is worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
So sometimes you have to show people how much you care.
Yeah.
But we're doing our symposium for Operation Silver Star. Was that August 21st? If I remember.
August 31st.
31st.
August 31st. Yeah.
Okay, so that's coming up. That's going to be at the SRCIR here locally, and I'll be speaking on that. If you're going to be there, I know there's going to be a clinical psychologist there and a few other people there to talk about things that veterans, resources that are out there for them, and to allow them to ask questions.
For sure.
I think that's so great. That's very exciting. We need to get all the information on that so we can post it.
It's the show's taking off, guys. July 7th, 8 o'clock. We're going to be playing with a lot of really great bands. Tamara Godey is going to be there. She's going to be playing a set. Tamara is a musician that's out there in Placerville. She's a huge part of the scene. Her and her husband, Louis, put on Louis Palooza out in that area. Fantastic event. Great people. We're going to be playing with Anarchy Lace, which is a metal band. We're also going to be playing with Evolution Revolver, which is also a metal band. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. We're kicking it off. It's been very supportive. It's a great group. The owner of Bones Roadhouse has been super cool to us and just really being accommodating. And so we want to give people, and the biggest thing is we're supporting Military Family Support Group.
Yeah.
Which is a 24-hour available group that is available to the families of military, and they're a great group of people. Yeah. Good group. So we're asking for a $10 donation for Military Family Support Group if you guys come out to that show.
Yep. The biggest thing about these, and especially if you're a veteran watching this, a lot of veterans think that the VA is the only avenue that they have for help. They don't realize there are so many nonprofits. There are so many nonprofits and organizations and things out there that they just have to ask.
Yeah.
They have to ask the question. Ask me. I'll do the research for you. I don't care, and I'm not going to put you on blast. I'm not going to air your dirty laundry. But if you need help, reach out to me, and I'll find you a resource. I don't care where you are.
Yeah.
I don't care where you are in the U.S. So
yeah. And the thing is, guys, is like everybody's like, the strong silent type is digging graves.
Yep.
Not talking about it is digging graves. Shame cannot endure light. So at the end of the day, if you're struggling, if you're having some problems, there are groups that can help you. You just don't know about them. Like Waves out in Oceanside, taking people out scuba diving. You got Path out in Arizona. You've got who's that body shop group out here in Murrieta that's local?
The ones that are restoring cars.
Yeah, I mean,
that's right.
There's so many different groups, and so Vet Fest, we're going to do it up in Northern California, and then we're going to do it again down in Southern California at Highland Hills venues. We met with Alan Long, and Alan Long is going to let us use that venue for free. Our goal is to get about 10 to 12 nonprofits out there that are all outreach facilities, that are all groups that are out there supporting veterans, so that people know where they can turn to help, so people could go for the music, not feel like you have to go and get help, and then if you feel like if somebody gets up on stage between bands and talks and it jives with you, like, I'm going to go pick up a pamphlet from those people. Yeah. Simplifying it, keeping people alive. Right? Yep. Okay, so
speaking of keeping people alive, our guest is here,
and it's Tiger Rock, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what? That's way too small. So let's do self-defense. Okay. So guys, what I would like to do at this point is I would like to introduce our guest to you guys. Marcos Sanchez runs a martial arts studio right next to French Valley Airport, and he's a great guy. He's a real estate agent, and he's here to talk to us a little bit about self-defense, a little bit about Tiger Rock martial arts. My brother, come on out, come on over. Are you stepping off, or did you step off? Did you want to? There's another chair in there.
I'll just chime in.
Brother,
David, good to see you again. Hi, Kate.
Marcos.
Good
How
to
are
see
you?
you. Good about yourself.
Good, thank you.
Okay, my brother.
Made it.
The beard.
The beard. The brotherhood of the beard.
My goodness.
Is that gonna get there one day?
Two very handsome bearded
And I have to
men.
shave again in 2 weeks. I look like I'm 12 again.
I'll tell you what, brother. Like the last time I saw you, you were clean shaven. You grew that out in a hurry.
I did. It gets out of control.
It looks good.
No, actually, I was clean shaven for a while. I completed a film project, so
Yeah.
it was a part of the guy that was actually in his early 30s. So
What's the project?
it's actually completed. Just inked a deal for worldwide distribution. It's called Broken Dolls.
Broken Dolls.
It's a
Okay.
feature-length film, and it'll be coming out in about 90 days.
Right
That's
on,
exciting.
brother.
A bit of a surprise there.
Yeah.
Gary, that one was for you.
Cool. So Broken Dolls, and it comes out in about 90 days.
Yes.
And then tell us a little bit. So what do you guys got? Tiger Rock, which actually my son did for a long time.
You did.
What are you guys doing out there? And your studio is getting big. You guys moved into a bigger location.
It is.
You got more students. Every time I go over there, I can't even come in and talk to you. You're so busy.
I've always got time to talk to everybody. When we started off, we had 3 students in a 500 square foot location. And we grew to a 900 square foot location with about 35 students. And we're up to about 75 students now in a 2,800 square foot location. So still in the same shopping center, but we are growing. So
yeah, right there off of Hunter.
Yes.
And it is a great location. Your guys' instructors are cool. And what's really cool about it, guys, is it's all ages. So there's a really great program for adults. And there's also a really great program for when I had Wyatt, and he was 4 years old. And they learn a little bit about discipline, but they don't. You guys aren't like a bunch of drill instructors out there screaming at the kids.
No, absolutely not. We a lot of us came up through the traditional martial arts programs where you would hold various stances for extended periods of time, and it's a little bit more of a brutal way of learning martial arts, but it doesn't really fit in today's day and age in society.
Yeah.
People have so many different things that they're interested in that if one thing happens that disengages them in what it is that they're learning, they're ready to move on to something else.
Sure.
So we've found a way of mixing interactive games with the younger kids, almost like what you see in the old school Karate Kid movie.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the kids realize that they've learned martial arts. We draw rainbows with our feet in the air, and then they realize they're doing crescent kicks one day.
Yeah.
So it's all about just keeping the kids engaged, teaching them discipline, respect, self-control, positive members of society as well.
I was a little bit frustrated the first 6 times that I brought my kid there, and you guys had him waxing cars and floors. But like, eventually, he got pretty good.
That was only because we hadn't gotten around to cleaning our cars in a while, so we had to get those done.
So, but what was so great about it was there was a couple of times where I came to you and I just said, "Hey, listen, Wyatt's using his karate on his sister. Can you talk to him?" And you'd get down on a knee and you talk to him, and you just had these very real conversations with him from a place of respect and a place of dignity. And it was, I'm very protective of my kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's not just anybody that I would want teaching my kids. And I was very happy to have you and Jennifer, Mr. and Mrs. Walker and your wife, mentors of my kids.
My wife Stacy's one of our instructors as well. Our instructor crew has actually grown from the first 2 years. It was only 4 of us. Now we have a complete staff of 7.
Wow.
Just to help accommodate the additional kids in the classroom. We want to make sure that we have a minimum of 2 to 3 instructors on the floor at any time. 1 head instructor teaching the class, 2 assistant instructors who are also head instructors, certified instructors, but they assist in teaching the class.
Yeah.
Making sure that the kids are not creating bad habits for themselves.
Yeah.
Sure. It's been really fun.
It looks like you've got some things that you want to talk about, and I want you to talk about them. And then we were talking about this earlier. Would you be willing to give us a little bit of a demonstration? Would you like let's say I'm like maybe a couple of quick tips for women watching at home. They're walking out in a parking lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could put something together as long as you don't beat me up too bad.
We'll set this right here on the stand, and I'll come and I'll attack you. You can tell Kate what she needs to do.
I'm super excited about this.
Well, some of the things that we focus on, of course, we have traditional martial arts still. We just teach it in a little bit of a different fashion than we used to.
Yeah.
For the adult program, which that program is a work in progress, one that, near and dear to my heart because I have 5 kids. Granted, the youngest is 19 now.
Yeah.
I still, at one point, had 5 little ones.
Yeah.
And it was on me to make sure that my family was protected. But, today's adults, they're working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. They're
That's
up
right.
5 in the morning. They're not in bed until 11, 12 at night. It's hard for them to free up time. So we've trimmed that program down from an all-encompassing traditional martial arts to what we call elite counter-aggressive skills.
Okay.
It's the real, the down to earth, what you would do if you were out on the street and somebody attacked you.
That's right.
One block, one evade, and hopefully just one counter, and it's done. If not one,
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I want to be because I just want to let everyone know that I've been hanging out off of Hunter, and I've been thinking about attacking people. But what's happened is I'm really nervous about doing it because of Tiger Rock being right there. If Tiger Rock wasn't there, I'd be unleashed on the people. So let's get this going. All right. So, okay. All right. So you want to teach Kate, and then I'll come in and I'll be the attacker. I'm going to go step off, and then you guys talk about it, and then I'll come in and I'll attack Kate.
So what most men or attackers will do is they will either grab you by one hand or they'll grab you by 2 hands. What they're trying to do is they're going to try and spin you around and take control of you from behind.
Okay.
Okay. So if that were to happen, so I've grabbed you, I've spun you, and I've taken control here. The very first thing you need to do, you've still got one free arm because I've already tied up both of my arms, which is no number 1.
Okay.
This arm, swing right back into the floating ribs. You're going to elbow directly to the ribs.
Here?
Correct.
Okay.
And as you drive in, you're driving in and up,
Okay.
which will cause me to get light on my feet
Okay.
as you spin through and you're now facing me.
Okay.
And you would immediately elbow to the temple, fist or elbow to the temple. I'm down. You're not beating anybody up on the side of the road. You're just getting away from the person and moving on, trying to get help.
Okay.
We're not teaching in our ECAS classes to beat people level. We're teaching to get home safe.
Okay, so
Wow.
here we go. I'm an attacker. I'm gonna get you.
All right, so that's what Dave. Dave the attacker.
You ready?
Crazy.
Okay.
Well, first off, you would not be ready for an
No.
attacker, and you're ready.
I got it.
There it is.
Ah!
Spin through. Elbow.
Elbow.
Fist.
Ah!
Very nice.
Oh my gosh! I don't think I want to attack anybody out on Hunter Road anymore. You did it. You
That's
did it. Okay,
I
so
like that.
so that's a smooth little combo. So I come around right here
And I'm here.
in the ribs.
And I got
Step
ribs,
through.
Grab him up.
and then
Ah! Ah!
Yes.
Phenomenal.
I like the
Right.
ribs a lot. That would be a very like.
And
a reaction.
what we teach a lot, especially in our women's self-defense class, is elbow shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because to throw a punch properly takes practice.
Yeah.
If you're not practicing once, twice, 3, 4 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
you can injure yourself. Throwing an elbow, it's pretty hard to do it wrong and hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Because the elbow is one of the hardest parts of the body.
Where's that elbow coming from?
Elbow's coming from China.
Yeah.
So the elbow's coming from behind.
Yeah.
So you've come through. It's just like a punch, but you just
Yeah.
don't hit him with the fist. And you strike through with the elbow. Even if you hit with the forearm, it's still going to hit right in the temple.
And what you saw there is you saw him step through it. So he like it doesn't come from just the
Right.
top over you like this.
Right.
So you want to show everybody
Right.
what you did there is the full
It's almost,
body.
it's almost like a golf swing. You got your golf swing. You've got your elbow. You're swinging through. Your body is planted. You're not really moving your feet. You're just using your hips to swing through. You're hitting with the elbow. You still stay planted here. You come back around,
Ooh!
unwinding.
I wasn't ready for that.
I
I wasn't ready for that. That was great.
That's one of the techniques we teach specifically in the adult class in the women's self.
You got one more? She's tiny.
Well, we have tons of anti-bullying, because here in California, as everybody
Anti-bullying.
knows, bullying is on a rise. For
Okay.
a little while there, it dipped. Now, statistics show that bullying's on a rise at a rate of 68% per year, which is absolutely horrible.
That's insane.
Yes, I mean, with all the things that people have to do today, where this is coming from is beyond me. But I, again, I'm probably getting a little bit off topic, but my personal thought.
Hey, let's bring it back down. Sit down and let's talk about this. Because that's something that we've been talking about is the problems with bullying, the problems with boys being in danger and not knowing how to deal with these emotions that they're feeling, and what's going on right now in our society. So what's going on with bullying, brother?
Well, first off, a misconception of bullying is only littler kids get bullied.
Yeah.
That's couldn't be furthest from the truth. They say, 1 in 3 students in California get bullied.
Sure.
We have people who they're exploring their identity, they get bullied. You have people that are overweight, they get bullied. Small kids, they get bullied. And what it is for whatever reason in our me now society that we've kind of created for ourselves.
Me now.
We have people that are, they feel like it is their responsibility to let you know your shortcomings.
Yeah.
As opposed to, back in my day growing up, we were all kind of taught, to paraphrase a little bit, if we all swept each other's porches, nothing would ever get dirty.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a philosophy that at Tiger Rock we tried to adopt. That,
if we all swept each other's porches,
nothing would ever get dirty.
There it is, brother.
That's for you, Grandma.
Grandma! I mean, she's giving a shout out to his grandma here.
Yes.
This is good stuff.
105 years old and still going strong. 105. Yes.
This
Oh.
is the stuff that your grandma has seen in this world that
Yes.
she's lived through.
Yeah.
Like 105. That's World War I and World War II and Korea and Vietnam and the space shuttle and the moon landings
Yes.
and
She remembers the steam engine cars. She remembers the Depression. And she's one of the few people that no matter what I'm doing, if she says I'm doing it wrong, even if I'm teaching martial arts, I listen to her. Because I will be as lucky as her if I can just make it 3/4 of the way that she's at in age. But and what's happening out there in the schools, of course, is the school is because of our laws. They say no fighting. If you get into a fight, you get kicked out.
We were talking about this, and this is so. Her son and daughter were dealing with some bullying issues, and my response was, break his nose. I was like, be violent about it. The only thing that violence understands is greater violence, right? And then we ended up having this very real conversation where she said, if it is even in retaliation, both kids are expelled. And so I was very frustrated about that, but then it caused me as a parent to get involved, and I went and I talked to the other parent. But for parents that are not getting involved or don't know who the parent is, what are you telling kids that they need to do?
We actually, for parents who are and are not involved in what happens with their kids at school, hopefully they're all involved as you guys are, because it's a big important part of growing up. But there are ways to counter bullying without having to strike someone. That's the first thing that we teach the kids. There's always a point that if it goes from being bullied to you actually having to defend yourself, then defend yourself.
Absolutely.
My wife, my other instructors will all be in that principal's meeting at the same time with you.
Yeah.
With all of our data and facts on what happens if somebody allows somebody else to physically accost them with them not defending themselves. Because the first people get killed all the time because they're trying to not fight back, thinking the other person is going to have enough common sense, and they end up getting, either permanently injured or killed.
Sure.
And, we don't need that happening, but
it's not the world we live in anymore.
It's not. When I was a kid, if you didn't have the computers, you didn't have the cell phones. If somebody wanted to bully me, they had to do it face to face. And
you also didn't have the guns,
right?
Yeah, and that's what there's a lot of cyberbullying that's going on. I put up something online about how like children deserve better than what we're giving them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I ended up just having a bunch of people just blasting me. I'm just going to take it down. I don't feel like falling victim to the mass, to the horde, to the people that are just out there at the lowest common denominator wanting to scream at each other. And it's difficult for me sending children out in this world where children are being raised by bullies in our society.
Correct. I mean, and that's exactly what is happening. Look at the media. They get onto a topic. They don't just discuss the topic objectively. What they end up doing is they beat down the topic that they don't like.
Yeah.
And they bring up high praise to the topics that they do like. And, originally media was designed to inform the masses and allow the masses to make their decisions.
That's right.
And it's not happening anymore. What they're doing now is they're working to influence the decision making one way or another. unfortunately, it's whoever spends the most money on the influence.
That's right.
Wins.
That's right. And it's right down to like the smaller media publications, because opinions are bought now. Opinions are bought. Yeah. And there was a time where you had journalists with journalistic integrity. And I remember the news when I was growing up. I remember watching 60 Minutes.
Dan Rathers.
Yeah, Dan Rathers. Those were people that, like, they would stand up and they would say, this is the story. And they would cover 3 stories that would all last 20 minutes apiece. Yeah. They would give you both sides. They would interview both sides. They would talk about it. And then you kind of came to your own conclusion.
Right.
Now it's like you've got one side, just like professional wrestling, and then you got the other side like professional wrestling, and then they're both like, we're holding up these professional wrestlers as figureheads for each side, and we're not accomplishing anything. The middle 60%, those of us who are like, oh my God, what can we agree on? What can we get done?
Yes,
we're exhausted.
And it's exhausting. I've gotten to the point now that I don't actually watch the news. I receive news feeds that allows me to kind of flip through them.
Yep.
And if I see a topic that I want to follow up on, I can save it to where I have a free chance. It's overwhelming, the nonsense that's out there right now. And, it's affecting the kids. Cyberbullying, people think that, cyberbullying is imaginary. It's not. Statistics show that 70% of cyberbullying happens to a female.
Wow.
Females are a little bit more active than the majority of males are on, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all the rest of it. So what happens is people attack through there. The schools are not doing enough I shouldn't say the schools, because the schools follow what the laws dictate. I would say that our leadership is not is not doing enough to quell that, the cyberbullying that's going on.
I think the difficulty is that the cyberbullying, it's just a micro condition of what we are doing as adults to one another.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we lost a very close friend of ours to cyberbullying. She didn't see an avenue out, and she made her own avenue. Unfortunately, took her own life. And
how old was she?
She was 15.
That's devastating.
And devastated her family. They have since recovered, but there's not a day that goes by that they don't think about it. And it's the little things that hit the most when they see a female that resembles their daughter. Mm-hmm. When they come across, a extracurricular activity that she used to do, and it will just hit them like a ton of bricks. Yeah. And
I will tell you this right now, that there is a lot of eyes on the veteran suicide epidemic. There's a lot of eyes on it. But I am also going to tell you that young women are killing themselves at rates that we have never seen before. People are like, there's a disconnection to this society. There is, we are all feeling it. We are all feeling devastated by it. And what can you do to be the micro, the macro? And I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you right now. Look up. When you go out with friends, when you are spending time with your friends, when you're spending time with family, set your phone down for a freaking second. Turn it over so the screen is down. Nothing says that you are less valuable to me than a human being constantly checking their phone. You want to see somebody, if you want to draw somebody to an absolute place of maddening isolation, be the person that when somebody is opening up to you that is checking their phone.
Yes.
Just look up. Say good morning to a stranger. Every single person that I walk by, I keep my phone in my pocket and I say good morning to. People say, oh, you're so hard to get a hold of. I'm present. If I'm with Marcos, I'm hanging out with Marcos. If I'm with Zach, I'm hanging out with Zach. And if I'm with myself, I'm hanging out with myself. I will look at my phone when I choose to look at my phone. That's okay. Okay, as a parent who's been dealing a lot with bullying, and this is something that we've been dealing with my kids, we've been dealing with it with your kids. Wyan's 5 years old.
I know.
He dealt with it yesterday.
I'm trying to prepare. He dealt with it yesterday, and I'm trying to prepare for my kids don't have cell phones yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's coming in the next 3 or 4 years, and I'm trying to prepare myself for what that looks like. That's going to be. It gives me anxiety thinking about it now.
I will say this: if I had to do it over again with the cell phones, I definitely would still give them the cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were times that the ride that was supposed to bring them home couldn't make it, and they got a hold of us. Those are all positive things to do. I would definitely not give them the smartphones that I got.
Okay.
Sure. Most of the
Flip phone,
4th
maybe.
and 5th
Yes.
graders right now, we're still dealing with like bullying, actual bullying at school. But most of the 4th and 5th graders, they have phones too.
Yeah.
And my kids are on, apps and stuff. It makes me nervous.
We're gonna go and wrap
react.
this part up because we got some time that's running out here. So Christian says, "What's up, brother?" That's amazing. With the plug, of course, they're talking about your movie. Want to remind everybody what your movie's called?
Oh yeah, it's called Broken Dolls.
Broken Dolls.
It's a psychological thriller, and
Right on.
it'll be coming out in about 90 days.
Moving on up.
Worldwide distribution through Amazon.
The Bean says hello.
Oh,
Good morning, Laura.
Very cool. Plot twist, not just real estate, but self-defense. Love it, y'all. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate you tuning in, brother. Kick ass, Seabass. Right on. Thank you for tuning in. Smart grandma. Love your grandma. Grandma's getting a lot of love today. Love this. Got to hop off. I'll watch the replay later. And again, that's what people do that stuff. They hop on. They do what they do. They got to go into work. They tune in. They watch the rest of it later. And Christian, I actually met with Christian this morning at Starbucks. The coffee that I'm holding this morning, I was drinking with Christian. Christian just made a move over to EXP, and so we're working together now. So that's exciting. Anything to leave us with before we move on to the next leg of the show?
I would just leave it with this. We didn't get a chance really to show any anti-bullying techniques, but parents, be aware. There are signs when your children are being bullied, and it's as simple as they don't speak to you as much, they don't look you in the eye anymore, they're staying off by themselves. Signs of aggression, withdrawal from society. Don't fool yourself into thinking it's a phase. Be proactive, not reactive. Find a time. Sit with them one-on-one, face-to-face, look them in the eye. If they don't want to look you in the eye, kneel down, look up into their eyes, make them look at you, and find out what's going on. Don't find out after, the worst has happened. Find out while it's still positive. I'd love to see some of you guys out at the martial arts school. We always give away a few, lessons for free so that you can make sure that we're a great fit with you.
And super supportive of this community. Super supportive. All of the events that I've done, all these big events in French Valley that I've done, you guys are always right there to help. You do the big booth decorating contest. You're giving away free lessons and stuff like that. I appreciate you, brother.
Well, I appreciate you having me on here. Really
do.
Thank you again.
Good man.
Love having you here. Zach on the backside there. Thank you very much.
So we'll swap out. We'll bring Zach back on.
All right.
And hey, Tiger Rock, martial arts. This is where you guys want to go. The great group, great staff, all ages.
Yep. 951-373-3071 if you want to reach us by telephone.
There it is. And then if you want to comment your link for the website and Facebook page when you get back, that way people know where to find you.
Sure, I will. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you, brother.
See you guys. Thank you. You too.
Good man. Zach Bach will bring you back, homie. And then we'll talk about what's next. So we're going to get into our real estate section here, guys. We're going to talk about VA rep for a moment. So VA rep Temecula is now up and running. We have a board established. We're waiting to announce that. And of course, for those of you that don't know what VA rep is, it is your Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals. VA rep has given away over 30 houses mortgage free to veterans. They're working with a group of people called the Stop, Drop, and Push campaign to help veterans get from existing charities, existing nonprofits, from their home to this place that's helping veterans. And they're doing really important things. We're working on becoming a veteran service organization. I was working in Washington, D.C. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, meeting with senators and congressmen to help stop putting it, or to put an end to all of these predatory lending acts, to help empowering veterans and active duty military to make smart investments, smart financial decisions, so that they're not losing their top secret security clearance and losing their jobs once they're in, and they're getting out of the military set up for financial success versus, facing homelessness in 6 months. There's a lot of charities out there that help veterans once they have become homeless, once tragedy has struck. VA rep is working to get out ahead of that, and that's what we're doing. We're working on becoming a VSO, which would be a veteran service organization, which would get us into the VA and hopefully get us on a base. We're working on getting involved in not only TAPS, out processing, but getting involved once people get out of the SOI, out of the School of Infantry, so that they don't go and buy a $500 Mustang that they can only drive 20 miles an hour on base. That costs them $500 a month, as Christian Dalen says.
The nicest cars on base are always at the barracks.
Yeah.
Always at the barracks.
We want to create entrepreneurs out of our veterans because that's going to create more informed, intelligent, and a stable voting populace and leadership to go out into the world.
Yeah.
I'm so excited you're involved with VA Rep now. It's going to be a really good thing.
So here are some of the people that I'm working with VA Rep. And I'll just tell you right now. So we're working with Andrea Overend, 12-year Army vet in North County. She's working with us. We're with Dave Clark, who's the president of Riverside. He's coming down to join our chapter, to start our chapter in Temecula. Jeremy Joyce, again, been with it for years. Don Sharp, both those guys went to the White House 2 weeks ago. Okay, and then Steve Acuna, Marine Corps veteran, works as a lender. We've got Charles Vamavita. Charles is massively active, huge patriot, great guy. Lisa Toscano, giving birth to a couple of veterans, and the daughter of a veteran. And then, so we've got a great staff, great group of people. I'm super excited about working with them, and we're going to be adding people to it. We've got Vet Fest coming up. We're going to be at Wild Horse. We're doing comedy for a cause, and we're raising money, we're raising awareness, and we're helping bridging that gap so that 22 a day, it's way too many. One a day in the Temecula Valley, we could do something about. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you think nationally, you act locally, and if we could keep some people alive, that's what we're going to be doing.
Yep. Eric and Marcus is going to run him back in.
I know, and then I'm going to get choked out again and get an elbow to the face.
On that, I've spoken to a lot of women about self-defense, and, a lot of them go, well, I'm not, Kate's 100 pounds soaking wet, and Marcus is probably 220, and a lot of women, I feel like they wouldn't be able to do something, but yes, you can. And that's one of the biggest things about training like that is the fact that you can, you can make a very quick difference by learning a couple of techniques.
And it's not about going out and being combative. We talk about all the time. So there's the 4 principles of martial arts. 1, don't be there. 2, if you have to be there, run. Something like that. 3, if you must be there and you cannot run, heal it. The 4th principle is to win. It is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener at war. It's not about going out and becoming a warrior. It's going out and learning how to hold yourself and handle yourself so that you can be a more confident mom. You can be a more confident individual.
It's better to have and not need than need and not have.
Sure. Well, and I think for women, it's not that we want it, we don't want in that particular situation, we want to be able to get away. We don't want to, we're not trying to hurt them in the way they're intending to hurt us. We just want to get away as quickly as possible.
That's right. It takes a lot to shoot somebody.
So what do you need to do to remove yourself from that situation as quickly and as quickly as possible and as safely as possible? So in my mind, that's what do I have to do minimally to get myself out of this area immediately?
You have to do this.
Apparently, it's this, that, and left hook them. Apparently.
Did you see that? Don't mess with Kate. Don't mess with Kate.
Don't attack Kate in a dark alley. Especially not from behind.
We had talked about the next thing is the importance of good listening. And, one thing to talk about, because we brought up phones with our kids, is you as a parent own that phone. That kid doesn't own that phone. Take your kid's phone and look through it. Look at the people that they're talking to. Look at the way that they're talking. If it comes down to an app like Snapchat where the chats are deleted, sorry, Snapchat's not on your phone. Mm-hmm. I will read what's on your phone. And I will go through it. Don't be afraid either to download the same apps as your kids. So you know how the apps work. Start using it. Start figuring it out.
Have you been reading Jackson's Twitters?
His Twitter's pretty good.
Has he been tweetering?
He gets a lot of retweets.
He gets a lot of retweets? So Jackson's 5 years old. He has a Twitter account. Some of the hashtags that he's been using have been incredibly inappropriate, though.
It's at Real Jackson Bach.
So Jackson doesn't really have a Twitter. I'm just playing with you guys, but I need more coffee. I'm starting to fall asleep.
Are you fresh out?
I'm just kidding. No, I'm going to grab some coffee. We've got about 7 more minutes left on the show. And so you guys want to talk about good? I'm not a good listener. So you guys want to talk about good listening without me for a second?
Good listening is important, especially in the industry that we're in with real estate. And you know who was talking about it and really got me thinking about it the last couple of weeks was Mia McLeod on the podcast that David did with her. She talked about the importance of just building that relationship and listening to what her clients' needs are and how their book of business has just gone through the roof because they listen to their clients and they've taken the time to hear them build their relationship and nurture it, and they have a beautiful business. So listening's very important. Listening to your family, especially listening to your kids. Absolutely.
I've been catching myself on the phone. I go out in the bullpen and I make phone calls, and Karen, the K, always sits out there, and she'll stand up. She goes like this. She goes, "Bring it down," telling me to slow down on my rate of speech. And I've been finding myself, because I get excited and I start talking fast, I have to stop myself and shut up. And what I do is I'm on the phone, I'm talking, and then they'll start saying something. I'm like, and I literally do that on the phone. So I just go, so that way I literally can't talk to remind myself, shut up and listen.
Yes. You will find out everything you need to know if you just listen. You know, you have to be patient with it. I like to listen to people. I prefer the listening over the talking, which I know is exactly opposite of you two. And
I prefer the talking over the listening.
I prefer the listening.
I feel like that's an entire chapter in how to win friends and influence people.
Because then I hear you. Like, I'm really listening. I'm reading between the lines. I'm listening to what you're saying, because you're usually saying something else when you're talking. You're actually saying something else. So I'm listening to what that is.
I've learned so much about communicating from being with you and working with you. And there's this great saying. It's wait. Why am I talking? Wait. And you know, you were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And it's so that you can listen twice as much as you talk. But the thing is, when you're incredibly interesting and you're so intelligent, it's really hard to not just let everybody know how great you are. But that prevents learning. If you walk into a room and you think you're the most intelligent person in the room, you stand to lose nothing, or you stand to learn nothing. To learn nothing. I walk into every room that I'm in, and I know for a fact that I can learn something from that room.
Everybody can teach you something. I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's a child. You know, everybody can teach you something.
Sure.
And if you're not gleaning a lesson from somebody, then you're not listening.
I mean, my daughter, when she was 18 months, taught me to breathe. She was sleeping on my chest, and she was kind of breathing shallow, and I realized I was breathing shallow. And then I started taking these deep breaths, and she started taking these deep breaths. And then I remembered throughout martial arts, throughout the Marine Corps, when I was doing yoga, I kept getting the same notes over and over and over again. Breathe. You're not breathing. Yoga, meditation, martial arts, shooting, all of it. Breathe.
So I was listening to you just now, and I gleaned that you took yoga. I feel like we need to have Lonnie back on the show to have David and Lonnie do some yoga together. I feel like that would be a fantastic show.
Lonnie and I talked about yoga on the show.
I feel like we need to bring a demonstration phase to the show at every episode.
Demo.
What was the name of
we need a Lonnie David yoga demo.
What was the gal's name that taught the yoga class in Temecula that I went to? Kristen?
Yeah, Kristen. Oh, I don't remember.
I don't know, but she's super active on social media, and she was
Rudd, no?
Yeah, no, Kristen Rudd.
Kristen Rudd.
So Kristen Rudd teaches a yoga class, and she also teaches this the mermaid movement.
Yeah.
As well, and it's all about like empowering women, and it's very interesting. Kate did the mermaid movement. I went and I took the yoga class, and she walked up to me and she gave me the same note that everybody gives me.
Breathe and listen to, and most importantly, guys, we have to be able to listen to ourselves. You know, if you're not listening to yourself, you surely can't listen to anybody else.
Yep.
So it's really important to listen to what your body's telling you, to what is, you have to pay attention to yourself before you can listen to everybody else.
Absolutely. Marcos, I see that you threw that link up on my personal Facebook. Make sure you throw that up on the David Serpa page or the Wednesday morning wake up page as well. That way we can the people on that page viewing can get the link.
That is just yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about Darren Campbell.
Yeah. You want to talk about Darren for a minute?
The podcast, or which?
We've got the podcast coming up. If you want to plug the podcast,
We've got a couple of really cool things going on, guys. We've got hello, good morning, Jessica Crumbaugh. We've got a new podcast coming out with Amanda Todd, and we've got another one coming out with Darren Campbell here pretty soon. Zach was actually there for both of those. It was during the Machine Gunner's Guide to Real Estate book tour. Now, Darren Campbell is the $4 billion man. He has personally sold about $3.97 billion in real estate, and he has a new program out there called Seven Figure Syndicator, and that he is teaching investing to people. It is, I think, $3,000 or something like that, but you get access to Darren Campbell.
Yeah.
And so he set up something for my listeners. You're going to hear about it on the podcast. He wants to prove concept. He wants to make somebody a millionaire. I told him, I said, hey, brother, I'm the home of Serpa Six-Figure Secrets. If you could take my Serpa Six-Figure Secrets and make seven-figure syndicators, I'd be very happy with that. And so what I want to do is I want to take somebody, get a hold of, this isn't like a recurring thing where you have to continuously pay $3,000.
No.
You do it one time, you pay $3,000, and he's willing to give you a free consultation if you sign up on the website or contact him on Facebook, and you just tell him that Serpa sent you. Because Serpa, I told him, I said, if somebody's coming for me, they're a six-figure person. I want you to make them a seven-figure person. And so we want to prove concept.
Yeah.
We want to do it right. And then what happens is eventually he wants to start charging a whole lot more for this program. So here's an opportunity for you to get in now. Instead of paying $2,000 a month for coaching for a year with a year contract and then getting locked in for 90 days, if you pay one time, you're in that network forever. With Darren Campbell, self-made, grew up in South Central Los Angeles, put himself through UCLA, and now lives about 37 steps from freaking Venice Beach.
That man is the real deal.
You met with him with me last week?
I did. I got to meet him last week, and he was incredible.
The thing is, a lot of people sign up for coaching, and a lot of people don't know who Dan Campbell is, because he's not that type. He's not the type of guy. He wanted to put out a product that was worth it, not just every other realtor, on the planet goes, you know what, I've sold a little bit, I'm going to become a coach. I'm going to set up this coaching platform, and then I'm going to charge people $150, $200 a month for whatever it may be. And if everybody you talk to people, they go, what's your goal? I want to invest in real estate. I want to invest, because everybody knows that's the best path to wealth in the United States.
Yes.
If you're going to learn how to invest in real estate, don't learn it from somebody that doesn't know how to invest in real estate or doesn't invest in real estate themselves. Learn it from somebody who buys $1 million houses to tear them down to build $2 million houses on the property.
It's an interesting thing when you look at wealth and wealth building, because it's scalable. So like the same things that you are applying at 10,000 can be used at 100,000, can be used at 1 million, while using other people's money to build the deal. And so anyway, the long and short of it is, guys, Darren Campbell is the real deal. He's very Promethean in nature, in that, do you think that he needs $3,000? Do you think that Darren Campbell needs $3,000? No, but what he wants is the skin in the game. He wants to know that you're going to commit to changing, because the thing is, he knows the secrets. And when you go out and you meet people like Darren Campbell, like Jay Massey, who has done all that VRBO stuff, self-made men. And Jay Massey is a military, well, I guess you could say a military brat, but the thing is these are men that learn their lessons the hard way and are coming to pass them on to people. That's that. So stay tuned for the podcast. It's about more than real estate. Amanda Todd's coming up, single mother, on her way to becoming the #1 agent in the country. Phenomenal human being up in Sacramento. And Darren Campbell, who lives out in Venice Beach. Great dude. Both podcasts are coming up real soon.
They're going to be great.
Actually, Amanda Todd might even be out like tomorrow.
Amanda Todd will probably be out.
The podcast is edited. It's done. We just got to upload it.
Amanda Todd will also be at LCA Live.
Amanda Todd will be at LCA Live, which is next week, which I am speaking at, which Aaron Brockovich is speaking at, which Tristan and Nick and Facebook's going to be there. And it's going to be a big deal. So we've got that next week. And then we've got the big NAREP convention in Long Beach, which Darren Campbell is speaking at. And so is Michael Hellickson.
A lot. We had a busy summer. It's going to be a good summer, though.
That's crazy stuff.
So local news.
Did you guys want to talk about the Clinton Keith project?
I would love to talk about the Clinton Keith project.
Okay, we're going to talk about the Clinton Keith project.
How many houses are in French Valley? A guesstimate.
Homes?
Yeah, is it 14,000-ish
About.
households?
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the biggest complaints of people in this area is a lack of commercial.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know we have one shopping center
Yeah.
to service all of these houses, and that's it. Well, if you notice, the sign just went up over here.
Yeah.
That says public hearing notice,
Yep.
which means that the city of Marietta is getting ready to make some announcements on what's being built. They've already been breaking ground.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And what's really exciting about this, guys, there's a shift that happens. So in 2007, 2008, when the crash happened, Temecula, Marietta gets developed. Winchester, the wave crashes, right? The shopping center doesn't get developed. Everything goes on hold because what happens is this side of Marietta is unincorporated. This side of Winchester, or well, all of Winchester, is unincorporated. But what happens when that Clinton Keith project opens and you have direct freeway access to Winchester, to East Marietta, there will be a shift because development will start taking off on a commercial level. Once commercial real estate starts taking off, then property tax, or then the taxes that the city is able to collect changes. Because right now, the only thing that's really available, it's like 90% property tax and like 10% sales tax. Once these big box stores open up, once the Sam's Club, or not the Sam's Club, the Costco comes in off of Clinton Keith. Once, this is developed right here off of Benton. Once we have shopping centers right here, this area will be incorporated because it will be worth money to all the politicians. It'll be worth money to the local governments. And so then you're going to have Winchester be annexed, you're going to have Marietta become incorporated, and then because it will be worth money. And then the development will come up and local property values will skyrocket because there is a balancing that is happening right now with land and resale. People are saying, I could sell my house and buy a slightly bigger house, or I could sell my house, buy 4 acres, put another house on it, and move my family in with me. And so there's a great leveling that's happening in a lot of the developing areas in California right now, where people are saying, do I want to buy a bigger house in the suburbs, or do I want to buy on land and then let that land come up in property value? And next thing you know, you're living in the deluge of Winchester because you bought 5 acres in Winchester, and then 10 years later, that plot that you bought for $250,000 is worth $1.2 million. And so I think that's the type of drastic increases that we're going to see in Winchester.
Yep.
I think we're going to see it in East Marietta, and I also think that we're going to see it in Wildomar.
Oh, Wildomar. Well, Riverside County as a whole, last year, I remember reading a statistic from the California Association of Realtors that Riverside County is the most underdeveloped county in the state of California, based on, and so, that's huge. And if you don't think that, huge developers are reading that, going, that's the spot. Mm-hmm. That's where we need to be. You have easy commutes to LA, to San Diego, that's the type of stuff that developers want.
Right now we live in what's called a bedroom community. And when you live in bedroom communities, the schools are better, the area is safer, and people are willing to commute to keep their family a little bit disconnected from the hustle and bustle. But what also happens is there has been a transition, which has been extraordinarily interesting in tech, to where less people are commuting to work. More people are working at home. So there's been this great leveling in property value where you're starting to see areas like Marietta and Temecula starting to hold weight with areas like Orange County, like Los Angeles. Not yet. What's happened is because people can work anywhere, these large tech jobs are no longer places where you have to work in the city of Los Angeles, where you have to work in the city of Orange. And so because of the tech balance, people are looking to get the standoff and they're looking at the land, which is why Riverside County is, and we've seen a huge increase in the last 4 years.
When was the last time you drove up by the water park in Paris?
It's been a minute.
Have you seen, there's a huge commercial development going in up there.
Amazon.
Amazon expanded their facilities massively. I got lost in them trying to go to the sheriff's department up there. But on the other side of the freeway, there's a huge commercial development going in. Just all these warehouses and structures being built. And I looked at that and I went, oh my God, if that's manufacturing jobs, that's huge.
Yeah.
Those jobs can be worth a lot of money.
Yep. What you have is you have a lot of people getting out of the military. Yeah. You have a lot of people retiring from the police department, or retiring from the fire department. You have a lot of people that are looking to pick up a trade. And what is happening is industry is actually coming to Riverside County right now. It's very good. It's very good for us because business is leaving California as a whole, but a lot of people are coming to Riverside County because the value is going to go up. It's going to skyrocket. Like what you've seen with Amazon. We have access to all these airports. We have access to all this labor because it's a bedroom community. There's a whole bunch of people out here. Some of the opportunities left when Abbott started shutting down out here. They were one of the largest employers in the valley. There was a shift. Now people are starting to work for Amazon. People are moving up to Paris. People are moving up to Wildomar. People are moving out to Winchester and out to Menifee. And there's a great leveling that's happening.
Absolutely.
It's exciting. Lake Elsinore is getting bought up by investors, by foreign money like crazy. The east side is being developed. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is Clinton Keith.
Yeah. I think Lake Elsinore is going to be, I think in 20 years, Lake Elsinore is going to be a very expensive place to live.
I agree.
I think that entire town is going to see a massive shift because where is there another lake town, Canyon Lake, right? Yeah. But it's so much more convenient than Canyon Lake.
So much more convenient.
Lake E's going to be. It's going to be interesting to see what happens out there.
Yeah, right off the freeway, it's beautiful. I think that there's going to be a lot of foreign money that's going to be being spent in Lake Elsinore. There already is.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was just going to say I went down for the first time ever. I met a friend for lunch on Main Street. Main Street? Yeah, and down in Lake Elsinore. I've never been down there, and you're absolutely right. It is going to be a hopping place. There's already a shift. You can see it in the infrastructure and just everything that's going on, all this building around downtown there. It's going to be it's coming up.
So this is what happened in Lake Elsinore. If you want to look back at the history of Lake Elsinore, and why don't we just do this for a second? Because we're talking about development. Okay. Okay. So Lake Elsinore, you had this beautiful lake on the west side of the freeway, which also happened to be the black part of town. Okay, there was a music scene in Lake Elsinore, and so Lake Elsinore, everything on the west side, which is where the lake was considered the undesirable part of town. There was a lot of black people that lived there, a lot of African American people that lived there, and so they created their own environment. They created their own music scene. They created their own lifestyle, and now what's happening is you're starting to see a lot of this area shift, and it's starting to come up. And the thing is I'm just giving you the history. I'm just giving you the truth. And so Lake Elsinore already had that vibe. It already had that scene going. And so it is going to be a natural transition for it to be, what's the word for gentrified? Gentrification?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. But the thing is, at the end of the day, there's a lot of foreign money that's being spent there. There's a lot of people that are seeing these areas, and people are saying, oh, well, Wildomar isn't safe, or Paris isn't safe, or Hemet isn't safe. Yes, you're right. Right now, there's certain areas that are not safe. But what I'm telling you is to buy. What you always do is you buy where the money is currently being spent that you don't know about. You buy on the outskirts of town, and you lay your hat down, and you let town come to you. You know what I mean? And so smart money right now is buying up Lake Elsinore. Smart money is buying up Wildomar, and smart money is buying up Winchester. Mm-hmm. That's it. Wow. Sorry about that.
Book recommendations.
Okay. Mention this podcast, David Serpa, Katie, Zach Bacher, call me and receive a free week of martial arts training. Tiger Rock martial arts. Hey, that's great, guys. So mention it, and then make it happen. Get your butt cheeks out there. There he is. See him in his shiny uniform without the beard. Stop right there. Adam Nelson. Good morning, Adam Nelson. Great topic. Thank you, Christian. All right, we're all caught up. Let's talk books. You got something for us today, Kate?
I'm not sure if I recommended it in my very long book recommendation I gave 2 weeks ago.
I got very excited about
I did. I got really excited.
I watched it.
You weren't here, and I brought my whole stack out. But no, still, my book recommendation, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but the 12 Rules for Life with Jordan Peterson. This is what I'm listening to right now on Audible. I highly recommend it to everybody. It is a fantastic book. I'm really enjoying it. It's very simplified, yet incredibly intellectual, and I love it. So I recommend that. Oh, David's running with something.
Okay. We ran about 10, 15 minutes over for the show today. We went in a little bit long. Okay. My book recommendation of the day is the 48 Laws of Power. The 48 Laws of Power is incredibly interesting. It is a book that's about power, and it's not one of those things that people don't like to talk about power. People don't like to talk in this language. But the thing is if you are not willing to talk in this language, you're going to work for somebody, and you're going to be manipulated by somebody that does. It's full of history. It's full of lessons about King Louis XIV. It's full of lessons about, it's just ripe. It's ripe with lessons about patent, about war, about the Romans, about all these different, about bureaucracy, about just so many different fantastic things. One of the things is about reinventing yourself. And there was this woman that grew up in France who, and at the time, women were told, or women were unable to make money. So they were either worked in brothels or they got married. So she wrote her first book and she brought it to a publisher. And the publisher told her, don't make books, make babies, madam. So she writes under the pen name George Sand. Now George Sand gets picked up, gets published, and then starts picking up some legs. And then George Sand has to start making public appearances. And George Sand goes out as a man. Not for a few years, not for 15 years. She spends her entire life living as a man in public and living as a woman privately. That's the kind of stuff you can't write that. You can't make that up. That's real. That happened. She decided that it was so important to her to write and to be an author that she decided to reinvent herself. And because of that, where her other contemporaries fell victim to the times, she was able to adapt to the times. If she was critiqued on something about her physical appearance as a man, she could simply change it because it wasn't a personal attack to her. The attack was on this character that she was playing for the world. And when she was asked if she wanted to be a man, she said, I have no interest in being a man, but that is where that she was willing to be heard. So whereas her other contemporaries went off and had affairs and dabbled in all these different sexual escapades, she became extremely politically active and socially active amongst college students. And so she lived a very interesting life. But the point is, there's all these different laws of power. And you should speak them fluently, because then you could recognize it when you see it.
Yeah.
That's that. And what's cool is I keep coming in and I have like cool history lessons to share with the kids and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Cool. Well, we've gone over, guys. I appreciate you guys all watching. Anything to sign off?
No, I don't think so.
Anything from you?
I had a book.
You had a book?
Jack's got a book.
Let's see it.
I didn't bring it with me. So there's a book. It's called Into Thin Air. Oftentimes we recommend, I don't want to say self-help books.
Is that about K2?
It's about Everest.
Everest.
It's about, so in 1997, 1998, there was a lot of people that died on Mount Everest by a rogue storm. It was supposed to be a decent day, and then all of a sudden this storm showed up and killed some very professional climbers, killed a lot of people. I think 8 people died on the mountain that day.
Yeah.
But all these people were still willing, knowing the risks, still willing to climb Mount Everest because they said, I'm going to do the thing that I've always wanted to do in my life. And, and unfortunately took the lives of some professionals, but they were still willing to take that risk and knowing that. And so, I thought about that book because a lot of people are not willing to take risks. They're not willing to go out there and do the things that they want to do because they're so afraid of that rogue storm. Mm-hmm. And you can't be so afraid of a rogue storm that you live in a bubble.
That's right.
And so, I just wanted to say, Into Thin Air is a great book. It's not a self-help book. It's not a learning book, but it is something that you can read and go, and take something away from.
It is a great book. And I actually think that they made a documentary about it.
They did.
Called Into Thin Air as well. And then they made a play about it, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway,
yeah,
it's a great story, beautiful story. Hey guys, I appreciate you guys watching for another week of Wednesday Wake Up Live. We try to keep the show at about an hour. Sometimes it goes over, but we had so much to talk about. If you guys missed, I got self-defended. I got my jaw broken earlier. It's been hard for me to keep up talking. We covered books. We talked about the Machine Gunner's Guide to Real Estate. We talked about personality tests, Myers-Briggs versus DISC. We had our special guest, Marcos Sanchez. He came in to talk about Tiger Rock Martial Arts Studio, which you can get a free week of if you mention this show. We talked about the VA rep coming to Temecula and what VA rep is doing with Vet Fest. with Wild Horse Music Festival on September 2nd at Galway Downs. Talked about the importance of good listening, or at least we think I did. I think we did. I wasn't listening. I'm just kidding. We talked about Darren Campbell and his new coaching program, the 7-Figure Syndicator. We talked about the Clinton Keith Project, expanding into Murrieta, East Murrieta, and into unincorporated Winchester, and what that's going to do for property values. And we wrapped crap up with our book recommendations.
I told you we had a lot of good crap.
It's a good show.
Told you.
Good show.
Appreciate you guys watching.
Bye, guys.
You guys have a good week. We'll see you next week. From flipping